Oil has hit $100 a barrel for the first time since July of 2022, and I think it actually got a little bit higher than that. And this, of course, is the result of what is going on in Iran, the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, and oh boy, is it sparking a lot of controversy, as Donald Trump is saying, everybody just don't worry short-term gas prices, but freedom in Iran, and then it'll get better, I guess. And he's also sending a message to the tankers that are too terrified to go through the Strait of Hormuz. Show some guts, he says. Because Iran is going to blow you up, maybe, but you can maybe if you all go at the same time. Now, the funny thing about this is the response we are seeing politically, both left and right. I was reading the story when I recalled the great quote from everyone's favorite Stephen Colbert, where when the Russian invasion happened and the U.S. started dumping money to help the Ukrainians, Colbert said, look, gas is at a record high, but isn't a clean conscience worth a buck or two? He went on to say that he doesn't care if he has to pay $15 a gallon because he actually drives a Tesla, so what does he care? Now, here's the thing. A lot of these lefties, they really don't get this, that when the economy does bad, people die. Now, I know that there are many that do understand this. My point is, a lot of the policies that are attempted to be enacted by Democrats and supported by progressives would actually inhibit economic activity and kill lots of people. And that's the difficult situation that we deal with. Do we want to enact some kind of social reforms or regulation to control for pollution or whatever it might be, knowing that this will depress a certain market by like 2%, which will have a comparable or a traceable amount of death attached to it? Because that's household management for you. That's the economy. Well, my friends, I bring you a beautiful news segment combined with what I call a retard zoo. Because I posted Colbert's quote intentionally with no quotes on it, and then linked Colbert's quote, the article from the New York Post, intentionally because I knew there were going to be thousands of people, both left and right, that would not actually investigate, would not remember or know, nay, they wouldn't even click the link I provided. And that's part of the problem right now. And it makes me think no one's allowed to vote anymore. Just no one gets to vote. I don't care if you're conservative or liberal, just no voting for anybody. We will install a king. I'm kidding, by the way, but I will show you this. But first, let's get to the big news following what's going on in this war. Oil hitting $100 a barrel for the first time since July. And this is bad, bad, bad news, my friends. They say U.S. crude oil futures rose more than 25% at one point, reaching nearly $115 per barrel, while Brent, the international benchmark, jumped more than 20% to $110. In early trading Monday morning, both indexes had fallen back slightly. In addition to oil's rise, S&P futures plunged 2.3, Dow futures plummeted more than 1,000 points, and the NASDAQ 100 slid 2.7, indicating U.S. stocks were poised to continue last week's descent. Oil's remarkable jump came even despite a record 35% rise last week. In addition to surging oil prices, U.S. retail gas prices also soared to a national average of more than $3.45 a gallon. The last time oil and gas prices surged to such levels was immediately after Russia invaded Ukraine in February of 2022. Indeed. And that was the point of the tweet that I made. And oh boy, aren't the responses just oh so beautiful. But wait! Before we go to those responses and all those posts, we got to take a look at what's going on right here with Donald Trump. Trump sends message to tankers as oil prices spike. Show some guts. Show some guts. President Donald Trump demanded tanker crews sailing through the Strait of Hormuz, south of Iran, show some guts as oil prices spike. He told Brian Kilmeade there was nothing to be afraid of after the U.S.-Israeli joint operation against the regime. And they go to mention that gas is about to get real expensive. There's a video going around where a guy peels a Trump sticker off the back of his truck. But guys, I don't believe any of this stuff. I just really don't. The Krasensteins shared it. And this guy is like, he walks the back of his truck and he pulls off this Trump sticker. After he's at a gas station, the prices are high. And he's like, why am I going to support them? They don't care about us. And I'm just like, I don't believe it because it's a stunt. Somebody filmed the guy do it from the back of his truck, and why? Why do that? Most people who have Trump stickers aren't paying attention all that much to anything. Most people with coexist stickers, all the same. Nobody's going to the back of their car and peeling off a sticker, and besides, they're not that easy to peel off anyway. So I call shenanigans. But Trump says, tell these tankers to get to it. We have wiped out most of their launchers. These ships should go through the Strait of Hormuz and show some guts. There's nothing to be afraid of. The Iranians have no navy. We sunk all their ships. You want to say, look, there is risk in the region. The region is volatile. Their launchers, there's just about 150 left. That's just about 20% of totals. They can't regenerate. They can't make any more. We are in the region and need to act quickly on all these types of attacks. And now you understand exactly why Donald Trump wanted this war. They won't admit it's a war, but it's a war. Guys, gas prices are going up. Easiest way for the Republicans to lose the midterms is if gas prices go up. Because, again, I don't believe that some guy's actually going to be like, hey, honey, film this video while I peel off a sticker. I mean, it's possible, for sure. But you are going to have, when we go to the macro scale, even a small percentage shifting towards Democrats if Democrats make promises. And that, my friends, is going to result in the Republicans losing the midterms. Trump knows it. And the risk is that Iran uses this leverage, providing weapons to the Houthi rebels so that they can attack the Red Sea, which is basically the sea that goes to the Suez Canal, which the U.S., Trump just wants to control all these canals and all these access points. And so, when the Iranians are armed to the teeth and capable of shutting down 20% of the world's oil trade, that's a problem. And likely the reason that Obama and Biden and everybody else were trying to cut deals with Iran is because they knew what was going to happen. If you cross them, they will cut off the Strait of Hormuz. And here we go, my friends. Now every American's going to feel it at the gas station. So the question is for you, it's an honest question. Allow Iran to continue to build up armaments over a long period of time for which it has control over the strait, or strike them down. Those aren't the only options necessarily, but any kind of deal with the Iranian government, which is Islamic fundamentalist, is going to result in them building up more power. So you're between a rock and a hard place. I am not a fan of this war, nor would I advocate for it. But I think it's fair to understand or to explain that you're looking at an adversarial regime, a country that hates us, that hates everything we do, that is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Trump's view of it is, if we allow them to become too strong, we can never put a stop to it. And then we're going to have to negotiate with psychopaths. There was a funny post on Reddit a couple weeks ago. They have these posts about hypothetical situations, and there was a hypothetical situation I offer you, and you can comment below and let me know what you think. The scenario goes like this. You wake up one day and you have all of the powers of Superman. That's right. You can fly, you can shoot lasers, you can breathe cold for some reason. I don't know. There was once a point where Superman could shoot little versions of himself from his own hands. You don't get that power. But the hypothetical was you wake up with all the powers of Superman. However, in 1 year's time, a random individual will also receive all of the powers of Superman. You always know who this person will be. So the question is, it's a random person anywhere in the world. Do you just sit back and let this individual one day wake up invincible, immortal? Or do you kill him before his powers activate? Oh, it's an interesting question, because a lot of people are going to say, we should not murder somebody. But then think about this. Can you trust that person? What if for all my Christian conservative friends out there, an Islamic extremist, you are Superman and you're trying to be good, right? And then you bing in your head, there it is, this guy in Iran, an Islamic extremist, IRGC member, he's going to get Superman powers. Are you going to let that happen? And here's one for all the liberals. A neo-Nazi white supremacist is going to wake up and get, well, that one's easy. We know the left would just kill him right away. And that's the point. The point of the hypothetical is to try and put in your mind what you would do if you knew that one day you'd wake up and face down an adversary seemingly indestructible. The way they view, so again, a lot of libertarians view it as, it's a trolley problem thing, like, hey, I'm going to mind my own business. And then that scenario, which it's not like comparable to real life. Come on, honestly, like Superman flying around. But you understand the threat. That's why Trump says Iran no nuclear weapon, because of the potential destabilization. And then with what's going on now at the Strait of Hormuz, a lot of it has to do with Iran building up their military and launchers to the point where it becomes nigh impossible to stop them from controlling 20% of the oil trade. And then once they can, and we can't do anything about it, they'll then come to the world stage and say, we're building nuclear bombs. And if you try and stop us, we'll shut down oil trade, which is what they've been doing. So again, that doesn't mean we should go to war with them or be bombing them. I'm not saying that. But I think these are interesting points worth understanding. I don't think it's going to play out very well for Trump in the long term. We'll see how things play out in the short term. In the meantime, welcome to what I call my retard zoo. Guys, I troll on X intentionally all the time. And I will say this. I am fully cognizant of the fact that using words like cognizant inhibit the ability for my channel to inhibit my ability to augment the show and expand upon the audience. Not the most verbose, but the point is, look, if I just made punchy, pointed tweets where it said oil prices should not be so high, it's unacceptable, I'd get 1,000 retweets or something. But that's just not me. So I tweeted, since the invasion. Okay, so actually, here's the post from Trump. Trump said, short-term oil prices, which will drop rapidly when the destruction of the Iran nuclear threat is over, is a very small price to pay for USA and world safety and peace. Only fools would think differently, would they? To which Andrew Feinberg responded, Trump now says $100 per barrel of oil is a very small price to pay and calls anyone who disagrees a fool. Indeed. To which I responded, since the invasion, oil prices have skyrocketed. Today, the average gas price in America hit an all-time record high of $4 per gallon. Okay, that stings, but a clear conscience is worth a buck or two. And immediately posted right beneath it, because here's the IQ test, the article in which I pulled that quote. Stephen Colbert roasted for saying he'd pay $15 for gas because he drives a Tesla. Indeed. And we all remember this. On this date, March 9th, 2022, only 4 years ago when I was a young man of 36 and I turned 40 today, Stephen Colbert got absolutely annihilated for saying, who cares about the price of gas? I drive a Tesla. Let's go bomb Ukraine to get the Russians out of there. To which I oppose that intervention as well. And the point is, I mean, to be honest, there are a lot of MAGA guys who are like, Trump is right. It's fine to have slightly more expensive gas. Now, to be fair, their argument is the gas prices will come down a lot more once we subdue Iran, take better control of the Strait. And if we control Iran. Now, Trump's really pissed because Israel bombed Iranian oil depots, refineries, because he wants it. Indeed. Well, my friends, as predicted, I got 2,200 responses. And unfortunately, nobody bothered before responding to actually look at the thread. And then one person was like, you didn't trick me. You just buried the right. How's I supposed to know it's Colbert? Uh-huh. Well, the thing is, my friends, I guess the sad reality is people don't remember. And I think that's actually what it's proving. To be fair, it's not everyone's a retard who responded and didn't understand the context of the quote. It's that most people don't have a good memory on these things. And thus is the nature of politics in this country, unfortunately, is that everybody forgets. Some issue will come up, and then a week later the story will change and everyone forgets about the thing they were complaining about before. Indeed. You could have just looked at it. So I posted this 7:06, and I included this at 7:07. Anyone could have looked to see I was literally just quoting Colbert. Now, to be honest, I intentionally removed the quotes and the context because I was trolling people, and I knew this is exactly what was going to happen. Of course, liberals are going to share this all over the place, as intended, and they're going to be like, look at Tim Pool's saying. He's saying this thing. And, well, I know I shouldn't do things like this because it's not like it's going to convince the masses, but I'm just really looking forward to when I sit down with a liberal and they're like, didn't you say that it was fine to pay $2 more per gas because you support the war? And then I can be like, oh, you mean when I posted the quote from Stephen Colbert about why we should support going to war in Ukraine? Indeed. But these responses, oh, heavens to Betsy's. Heavens to Betsy's. Let's see. This person just responded with, because Colbert said at the time it was record gas prices. He's like, actually, it's not. Here's another person who got grok. The all-time record high. Everyone's like, this is not true. We buy zero oil from Iran. I wonder what short-term means. This is funny. And it's funny because no one actually asked Grok what the post was or anything about it. And Grok could have told people that this was just a Stephen Colbert quote. Indeed. Please provide short answers only. Is the national average gas unleaded for blah, blah, blah? Is $4 an all-time high? Did Grok? Indeed, Grok did not explain the reason why my tweet says $4 a gallon is because it is a direct quote from Colbert from 2022. And what does this one say? One night says it's easy to say that a clear conscience is worth $1 or $2 when you're rich and famous. They hit the lower income workers harder than the rest of us. High gas prices are poor. Absolutely amazing. Proof Trump can literally do anything and MAGA will absolutely love it. This guy, he got super mad. He was so mad. He was like, you didn't trick me. You hid the quote. How was I supposed to know? The point I'm making, sir, is most of you who are commenting don't even do a Google search before commenting. You have no idea what you're talking about. And there you go. Short term, what does it mean? No one. But the midterms, Tim, all-time high, blah, blah, blah. Clear conscience. I set y'all up. I know I did. There are pro-Trump people being like, yeah, who cares? That's not even close to nobody. And this is crazy to me because of how big the story from Colbert was. I have to be honest. I actually expected a bit more people to remember the Colbert quote. But hey, maybe that's just me. I remember things. And that's why I don't write scripts. That's how I'm easy to, that's why it's easy for me to produce these segments with low staff for my morning show. Because when these stories happen, I'm just like, oh yeah, Colbert said he wouldn't mind paying more for gas. The funny thing about this is, basically you've got Trump saying, who cares if you're paying a little bit more for gas for now, we're going to get this. And you've got liberals all freaking out over it. But when Colbert said this, they were like, oh, calm down, blah, blah, blah. And this is the point. Maybe the reason for everything is that people have memories like goldfish. They don't remember a story like this, which got millions upon millions of views. And Colbert was roasted massively for saying this. But, I don't know, whatever. Again, I'll stress this. There's a lot of people who are like, Tim, if you just took Twitter seriously, you might actually get more followers and you get more views. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. And they're like, if you play it straight on YouTube and didn't do well, what can I say? I am who I am. It is what it is. I hope you had fun. How many of you fell for the tweet? I mean, to be fair, look, I linked this story directly underneath it. I did that on purpose. I removed the quotations on purpose. And here's the other thing too. Guys, I post my the revenue that I generate from X. It's something like $4,000 every 2 weeks. Sometimes it's a lot higher. I had 1 month where it was like 15 grand total or something. But it's usually around like between 5 and 10,000. And then I post this and I'm like, hey, X is great. Like you guys, like you could make money on this. And I got all these responses from people being like, oh yeah, if you got 2.5 million followers. And then other people were like, you think $4,000 is a lot of money? And I'm like, okay, well, I'll tell you this, the way you get paid on X is through replies because ads appear in the replies. And I got 2,200 replies quoting Colbert. And now people are going to be like, oh, so you're grifting. Well, look, I don't really care about the money that I make from X. I'm just pointing out that when y'all fall for these trolls, X pays me more. It's just the way it is. I'm going to wrap it up there, my friends. Smash the like button. Share the show with every person you've ever met in your life. Thank you so much for hanging out. We got more segments coming up, and we'll see you all in the next bit.